Good morning. As an outbreak of coronavirus, we are dealing with the classes online. Myself, Dr. Asha Afrin from Bhubaneswar Government Law College, Gulbarga, Karnataka. I am dealing with an Mohammedan law and my topic is marriage. Marriage, in legal terms, it is an institution to legalize the sex and for the procreation of the children and also to regulation of the society. But it is said that Honorable Justice Mahmood said that marriage under Mohammedan law is a civil contract. In Abdul Qadir versus Musammad Salima 1886 ILR 8 Allahabad 149. In this case, it is said that it is a civil contract. But Justice Shah Suleiman in Anis Begum versus Muhammad Istafa Wali Khan, AIR 1933, Allahabad 634. In this case, it is said that it's not a pure contract or pure civil contract, it is a sacrament too. So today we shall deal with the whether the marriage under Mohammedan law is a civil contract or a sacrament. Now, before going to marriage, we shall see what is contract or what are the ingredients of contract. Contract under section 2 subclause H of the Indian Contract Act, which was passed in the year 1872, it is an agreement which is enforceable by law, is a contract. Those agreements which are enforceable by law are called an agreement. Those agreements which are not enforceable by law is not a contract, but they are mere agreements. For example, if a party is there in my home, that is my birthday party of my son, if I invite some of my colleagues and I prepared one plate for 500 rupees and I invited them, and I made an offer to come to my home, and they also accepted my offer that they will come to my birthday party of my son, and they failed to come to my home, and I have lost two colleagues, that is 1,000 rupees. Whether I can sue them, it's a whether I can go before the court of law so as to take the compensation from them or not. But it is said that social contracts or social agreements cannot be enforced before the law. So if those agreements which are enforceable by law, only they can be called as a contract, otherwise they are all mere social contracts or moral contracts. So it is already defined which are under section 2H of the Indian Contract Act. Now come to the offer. Some of the ingredients are there. They are offer, there must be an offer, there must be a proposal, there must be a consideration, free consent, and then competent parties must be there so as to make a contract. Now first is offer or a proposal. What is a proposal? Under section 2 subclause A of the Indian Contract Act 1872, when a person signifies his willingness to another to do or abstain from doing any act with a view to obtain the assent of such person. That is, if one person expresses his feeling to another person to do an act or not to do an act with a view. Why he is asking? What is the object behind that? He is asking with a view that he will consent to thereof. So that itself is called an offer. In marriage, if a boy he expresses feelings to marry a girl, why he is offering the offer? Because he is with the view that she will accept the offer or not. So offer is the one where one person expresses his feeling to another person with a view, with an object that so as to take the consent to his offer. So next comes to the proposal. What is proposal? Under section 2 subclause B of the Indian Contract Act, which was passed in the 1872, it is said that to whom the proposal is made, if she or the another person assent thereto, it itself is called as acceptance. That is, the lady to whom the offer is made, if she accepts it, then it is called an acceptance. So the offer and acceptance must be at the same meeting. One has to he has to make an offer, today, if it seems today, then she cannot say the acceptance after 2 days. It must be at the same meeting. So there should be competent parties must be there so as to get a marriage. Under Indian Majority Act 1875, who is a major? The person must be a major, and he must be possess a sound mind, and he must be a Muslim. Both the parties must be Muslim. Both the parties must be of sound mind, and both the parties must be major. Now, according to the Indian Majority Act, which was passed in the 1875, it was held that major is a person who has attained the majority, or he is not a minor. So minor cannot make any contract, or he cannot make any agreement. If he makes any agreement, that agreement itself is a void agreement that cannot be enforced before the law, so it is not called a contract at all. So both the parties must be major. If they are minor, that guardian can give a consent to their marriage. And if under Mohammedan law, the age of puberty is considered as a majority, and the boy or a girl may be there. If they attain the age of puberty, that itself is a major, they can contract a marriage. Usually, the age of puberty under Mohammedan law is considered as a 15 years. Then we shall go to the soundness of a person. If both the parties are sound, then they can get the marriage, and they must be Muslims. The third ingredient of the contract is that dower. Here a civil contract, why it is said by, because offer, acceptance, and the consideration is there. Consideration is under Mohammedan law it is called the dower. Dower or a meher or a consideration. Dower is a meher or a kanya shulka in which a husband used to give to the wife, not the wife to the husband. So Prophet Muhammad said that some dates, that is khajur, is also considered as a meher, or quantum of meher may be cash, or it may be of any kind, and it may be a minimum 4 dates, or a maximum there is no maximum is fixed. Dower can be analyzed, or it is assessed by looking the beauty of the girl, her fortune, her education, the father's background, economic background, and societal status, and her age can also be considered as for fixation of the dower amount. And dower is given as a mark of respect towards the girl. And dower can be given at the time of marriage, or at the time of before the marriage, or after the marriage also. This marriage may be oral marriage, or it may be a written, that is offer and acceptance can be made orally, or it can be reduced into writing. And there should be witnesses. The witnesses must be, if they are male, 2 witnesses must be there. If one male is there, then 2 females must be there so as to witness the marriage. Free consent should be made by the parties. Now free consent means, that is it should be free from coercion, influence, fraud, mistake, and misrepresentation. What is coercion? Coercion is that a criminal force should not be used to a lady or to the parties of the marriage, because if you put a bullet on them, or you put a knife on the stomach, in the stomach, and they say that you have to make a consent, or you have to give a consent, that itself is a void marriage. You cannot use a force so as to get a consent from them. That is not a free consent. Influence, if the higher position person is there, he cannot take the for example, if influence, so influence is in such a way that if you help someone, or a boy was there whom you have given a career, a boy was there whom you have got a job, and then after the job you say that why not you marry my daughter, so he will not have any option for the rejection of the marriage. So in that, one person may not have an influence on other, that other person may won't have any alteration. That is he will not get any alternative except the marriage. He will consent the marriage in such a way. Also, the consent is not considered as a oral consent. Now, fraud, you cannot make a marriage or take the consent of the parties by making a fraud on them, or by it may be mistake or by misrepresentation. So these are some of the ingredients on which you can say that if all the ingredients are there, the marriage will be contracted. And I already said that Justice Shah Suleiman in Anis Begum versus Muhammad Istafa Ali Khan, it is said that it is not a civil contract, it is also a sacrament. Maybe it is not a pure civil contract, it is also sacrament, because as Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that marriage is not only a contract, or marriage is not only made so as to legalize the sex, but also marriage is an ibadat, or it's a worship. So if anyone contracts a marriage, then he completes his half of the religion, that is, he completes his half of the Islam. And it is said that if in case of marriage only four contracts or four marriages can be made by one person, but in civil contracts, a contract can be made at any time at so many numbers, that is not only more than four contract he can make. So marry, when if the person wants to marry fifth wife, then he can leave the one wife, and he can contract the fifth marriage also. So what I want to say that is that contract may be not only for four times. In civil contract he can go for more than four contracts. So marriages are not a civil contracts. So Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also said that if a person who has not made a marriage, or who will not contract a marriage, that itself is a sin, that is papa. So one has to every Muslim who is capable, he has to marry. So the another one is that Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it is one of the sunnat that Prophet Muhammad is himself married. So all the Muslims or the followers of Prophet Muhammad, they have to follow the sunnat. So they have to get married. They should not be sannyasi, or they should not be out of the marriage institution. So it is said that marriage is not only it's a civil contract, it's not a pure civil contract, but it is also a sacrament. With this I conclude. Thank you.